The measure of conscience is the internal state of the soul. The internal state of the soul is based on the acquired experience, the memory that the soul has, and the level of development and revelation of the soul. Therefore, if a person is developed mentally, that is, has revealed many aspects of his soul, having lived it through his own experience, the threshold of conscience will be very high. Before doing something, such a person will definitely wait and analyze whether it is against his conscience or whether he can do this. When a person is undeveloped, selfish, and lives his whole life in a state of egoism, having accepted it as his own internal state, he does not understand what conscience is and often does not realize it. The only thing is that during a certain process of human development, his soul begins to hurt as a signal that he is doing a lot against his conscience. Why soul? Because the first state of your soul is conscience. Precisely conscience. Conscience is controlled by your soul. The soul, as a process of evolutionary development, is both perfect and base at the same time. It is initially low when it just begins its evolutionary development from the human level, and it is exalted in the paradise abode, in the paradise state, since it is your soul that is an exact copy of the state of the soul of the Supreme Creator. And when a person understands the state of his conscience, this indicates that the person is truly developed. Many people do certain things for their company, saying, "Let it be on my conscience." That is, a person consciously commits a crime and understands that he will be responsible for it. The only bad thing is that many people forget these processes and these misdeeds, and then the boomerang returns to them, and what was on the conscience of the soul for human understanding comes into their lives in the form of difficult situations, troubles, pain, and suffering. And a person, suffering, having already forgotten what he did against his conscience, experiences suffering and looks for someone to blame, but there is no one to blame. Everyone is guilty. Many people, let's say, living through certain difficult states of their soul, going against their conscience, say that they stop sleeping at night, they worry, and their internal psycho-emotional state is destroyed. In general, what happens when a person is tormented by his conscience? He stops sleeping and he feels such internal mental torment. Your souls come here to this planet, and in general, you exist here only so that you have the opportunity to develop. The process of your development is that you gain experience in your relationships, at work, in all your life situations. This is the task of your soul. And when a person, in the process of his development, commits some difficult actions and a very difficult low state actually accumulates in his soul, the person begins to suffer. His soul hurts. His soul or psyche is destroyed. You call it the psyche. In fact, the psyche is the state of your soul. And if the soul has accumulated a lot of low vibrations and low experiences, although by its nature it is a heavenly state, it begins to hurt and torment, and a person feels this torment even physically. And it would seem nothing happened, but the person feels inner depression, sadness, torment. A person's soul hurts, and many people even talk about physical chest and that they can't do anything to relieve their internal condition. This already suggests that the soul is in a very low state, it is sick, and having fallen ill, the soul loses connection with the consciousness and mind of a person, which leads a person to mental illness. Yes, my friends, when a person commits a lot of vices, his soul begins to hurt, it begins to suffer, and naturally the person himself suffers in this state because the soul and the human being are one single whole. Looking at your nature, we can say that you are only a soul. Yes, you are the soul. But look around, look at the world. How many people now live without souls? They are like robots, like clones. They absolutely lack any humanity, kindness, mercy, awareness, and understanding. They are robots. They are told to do something, do that or that, and they do that like robots, without even analyzing the state of their soul, their feelings, They simply perform certain actions. So what's happening? Their souls no longer belong to them, and they have truly become robots. What will such a life lead to? In general, what to expect in the future? Difficulties, troubles, and those distractions that I have begun to talk about so often lately. Why? Because the time has already come.